Empowering Voices, Women's Influence in Promoting Civilizational Dialogue and Global Tolerance. May I please invite to the stage Sheikha Noora Shamsi, board member of the UAE Youth Leadership Program and an entrepreneur. Dr. Dima Rachid Jamali, Vice President of Academic Affairs at the Canadian University of Dubai. Shannon Seban, City Council member of Rosny-sous-Bois. Dr. Sabrina Moura, Research and Development Manager from the Louvre Abu Dhabi. And Huda Raphael, Sievers, Researcher and Tolerance Advocate. Thank you.
Good afternoon, esteemed guests and our esteemed panelists. Good afternoon. My name is Professor Sherine Farouk. I'm the Associate Provost for Internationalization at Abu Dhabi University, so I'm coming from the academia. I'm very delighted and thrilled to moderate this important sessions which will be dedicated to women and how to empower women and their role in driving the dialogue between civilization and global tolerance. So I would like to welcome my esteemed panelists and guests and to start by a brief bio of each one. We have Sheikha Noora Shamsi. She's the board member of the UAE Youth Leadership Program and an inspiring entrepreneur. We have Dr. Dima Jamali. She's the Vice President of Academic Affairs at Canadian University. We have Ms. Shannon, Seban City Council member of Rosny-sous-Bois, French, whose commitment to community development and policy making. We have Dr. Ms. Huda, Raphael, a dedicated researcher and advocate for tolerance. So welcome all of you to this session. I would like to start my first question and thought to Sheikha Noora Shamsi and ask her about her personal experience where she witnessed or contributed to fostering dialogue and tolerance in her community or work.
First of all, I would like to start with thanking Emirates Scholar for the effort in organizing this amazing conference. Having this opportunity today to share my experience is truly an honor for me. To start with, dialogue is not just about speaking. Dialogue is understanding, respecting, and building bridges between cultures. A recent experience, just last week, I had the privilege of representing the youth of the United Arab Emirates at the Joint Gulf Youth Camp in Al Ula, Saudi Arabia. The camp gathered youth leaders from across the GCC, Jordan, and Morocco, all with the goal of fostering cooperation and mutual understanding. One of the most impactful moments was during a culture exchange where we shared stories from our countries, our traditions, and our values. It was a reminder, actually, that while our cultures are very different, our hopes and our dreams are almost similar. In that space, dialogue became more than words. It became a connection that went beyond borders. mutual respect and understanding are key to coexistence. Women in leadership play a crucial role in shaping inclusive spaces where dialogue leads to action and meaningful change. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sheikha Noora. I think this is very enlightening, and what I really like when you say that it is not just only words, it is actions and behaviors. So this really was very insightful. Thank you so much. Now let me go to Dr. Dima, and from her experience in academia, she has a long and in-depth experience in academia. What could be the role of the academic institutions that could play in shaping women as leaders in civilization, dialogue, and global tolerance? How universities can support these initiatives and to better support these emerging voices?
Thank you. First, I would also like to thank Emirates scholars, because really they're setting the bar in terms of the conferences that they're organizing. And I cannot think of a more important theme than this conference today, which is about tolerance and coexistence. So really, thank you from the bottom of my heart. In terms of the role of education, I think the most critical empowering tool for women to advance and to have a voice is education. And if we look through history, whether previous examples or current examples, some of the most influencing women in the history have focused on education and empowering women through education. If we give a few examples, international examples, Margaret Thatcher, for example, she was the longest standing Prime Minister of the UK, but also a strong believer in education and providing access to education. She forged foreign policy and international dialogue in a significant way, and she's remembered in history as the Iron Lady. Similarly, from a local context, we have a lot of examples of women initiatives and women-led projects that focus on education. For example, Malala Fund is led by a woman, a Nobel Prize laureate, and the focus is exactly on empowering women in vulnerable communities by providing them access to education. If we want to think closer to home, here in the UAE, we have many remarkable examples. For example, Her Highness Fatima bin Mubarak has many initiatives that focus on women and women empowerment, including her Ladies Youth Sports Academy, and she leads the Emirates Red Crescent, for example. And we have Sheikha Jawahir Al-Qasimi that is also leading remarkable projects in the sphere of education. So I cannot emphasize more the importance of education, and I'm very proud of women-led projects that are focusing specifically on that internationally and locally. Thank you.
This is really great. You provided us with excellent examples, whether internationally or nationally, about women and their role in fostering civilization, dialogue, and tolerance. This is really great. And really, I do also believe that academia or universities and even schools, they have a big role to play in fostering coexistence, tolerance through the curriculum themselves or co-curricular activities and so on. So thank you so much. This was very insightful. Now let me go to Ms. Shannon, and let me ask her about, from her experience in public policy and community development, how can local governments and policymakers create sustainable frameworks that empower women to lead in promoting dialogue and tolerance?
Thank you so much for your invitation. I'm really glad to be here today in Abu Dhabi. And I would like, of course, to start by thanking Emirate Scholar for this wonderful conference and from gathering people from all around the world in order to discuss, in order to bring peace and to make it a reality. And thank you also to the Ministry of Tolerance and Coexistence for collaborating to the organization of this event. First of all, I will say that diversity, tolerance, coexistence, fraternity are not only empty words. It could be a reality if there is a will. And if there is a will, there is a path. And we can see it here in Abu Dhabi, in the United Arab Emirates. This country is wonderful. Wonderful because really inspiring. And I can tell it from the French point of view. Here, from 2016, you do have a Ministry of Tolerance and Coexistence. Yes. In 2019, you decided to sign the Declaration of Fraternity, of Human Fraternity, the famous Declaration of Abu Dhabi. This is really important in order to mark the way for the future and to prove that we are all brothers and sisters. And I would like to focus on this in a world which is marked by hate speech, discrimination, anti-Semitism, racism, anti-Muslim acts, which are rising all around the world. If we all stand together, women, men, youth, whatever our religion is, whatever our culture is, if we deeply commit in order to make interfaith dialogue a reality, everything can change. And I would like, of course, to focus on education, because I do think that education is the foundation. If you make all of your efforts in order to give instructions to the young generation, in order to empower interfaith dialogue, in order to prove that whatever you are, whether you are Christian, Jewish, Muslims, there are more things that gather us than things that divide us. So it's all about humanity. And we can see that, of course, I just read before coming, an interesting figure I would like to share with you. According to the International Peace Institute, a peace agreement has more chance to last longer if women are included. That means that a peace agreement could last until like 15 years if women are included in this. So that means that women in education are really powerful, but I'm pretty sure that peace is not only about women, it's about all people, whatever our religion is, whatever our culture is, whatever our background is. And I would love to tell you more about what we are doing in France in order to promote this.
This is really great. Thank you so much. It was really inspiring, and I really do agree with you that the UAE is a role model for the countries when it comes to tolerance and coexistence, and we're lucky to be here. Thank you so much. And now let me pose a question to Ms. Huda, Raphael. Could you please share with us how women have historically contributed to fostering dialogue between civilization, and what are the key lessons we can draw from their experiences today?
Thank you so much. Thank you, Doctor. Actually, I would like to start with thanking Emirate Scholar. You know, Dr. Firasnafo has been so engaged with us, and you know, in dialogue too. And this is the second conference that I participate in, and it's been just very, you know, heartwarming, and to see this experience happening in the UAE. The UAE is really the you know, it's in this country, the seed of tolerance is getting planted, and hopefully this tree will grow to, you know, give its shade to the whole region. So I'm very proud of the UAE, very proud of Emirate Scholar, and very proud of the Ministry of Tolerance for, you know, hosting such a wonderful event. You know, I'm originally from Iraq. You know, was born, raised in Iraq, in southern Iraq, from a Jewish family. And I would say, you know, my history and heritage of 2,600 years in Iraq is full of stories. And one of the stories I always tell is about my grandmother, and you know how an amazing and powerful woman she was. They lived in a neighborhood where it had, you know, people from all different faiths, and really women were the main focus. You know, they were always the cooking and the engagement between them. And during the change of, you know, century, when the kingdom was established and King Faisal was there was a lot of push to really educate women. And my grandmother was not educated, and there was this notion of it's time to educate my children. And my grandmother would, you know, spare money on the side to, you know, keep it for the books and the pencils. And, you know, all Iraq was felt united under this you know, government that wanted to help women be elevated. And there was an amazing education system that started at that time, an university that got built. And my grandmother educated all her children, and that's what empowered my mother to take care of us, you know, after she lost my dad. So I really believe in the power of women, and in the power of women to really educate their children, to open their eyes to all the surrounding and the diversity. And our neighborhood was, you know, a typical example. Now it's actually been taken care of by UNESCO because it has historical houses for people from all faiths.
100%. This is really great, and great examples that tolerance, coexistence start from home and starts from the family and the parents. Also, it's very important. Thank you so much. Now, let me return back to Dr. Dima and ask her a question about if she can elaborate on the social and economic obstacles that can face women in contributing to the dialogue and tolerance. And what could be the strategies or the ways that we can overcome those obstacles, and what's her recommendation regarding this?
So I think there are many obstacles that can face women in advancing their careers, in having their voices heard. But I will focus on three that I consider to be very important. One is, of course, political representation. I think that we need to see more women represented in politics, in parliaments, in ministries, in formal associations, to give them a formal voice in decision making. The other obstacle is economic empowerment. I think as long as women are not economically independent, they are not able to make decisions and to be able to carve their way and their career pathways the way they wish. And the third important obstacle is cultural and gender-related stereotypes. Despite the great progress that we've witnessed, we know that women in different contexts still face gender stereotypes and cultural biases that sometimes hinder their progression. So I think if we can address those three, the economic empowerment for women, better political representation for women, and overcoming or alleviating gender-related biases and stereotypes, this can help really advance women's lives and women's careers. Now, what we can do, we go back to the role of education, which is extremely important. Women accessing important roles, whether in the private sector, in the public sector, in academia, in NGOs, in order to be more economically independent. The importance of mentoring and networking for women is repeatedly mentioned. So all of this, and raising awareness, like panels like this, they can help, and events like this, can help raise awareness about the roles of women, the contributions of women. And as I started, women have had remarkable roles through history in fostering tolerance, dialogue, coexistence. We have a multitude of examples, and we need to continue to empower women to make this difference, you know, for the next century. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Dima. I do agree with you that raising awareness is very important, and also sharing best practices and having role models could be also a good way to empower a woman and in the dialogue between civilization and tolerance. So it's very important to have specific role models in the mind of our youth and in the mind of our children in order to motivate them and to raise their awareness regarding this. So thank you so much. I'll return back now to Ms. Shannon and ask her about a personal experience, from her personal experience, where you played a role in fostering dialogue and tolerance in your community or professional advocates. So what lessons do you take away from this experience? So just give us some hints about your experience and what could be the shared lessons that you would like to tell us about it.
Thank you for this question. And answering this, I will start with my personal experience. I was born and raised in Seine-Saint-Denis in France, which is a department which is well known for being the youngest, because 40% of the population is aged less than 25 years old, but also for being really diverse. In this department, diversity is seen as an opportunity. And I was born and raised over there, where I am elected today, in charge of combating discrimination and promoting French concept of laïcité, which is the separation between church and state, and which gives all of us the freeness of believing or not in God. I was also born and raised with a father from Algeria and from a mother from Morocco. And fraternity and between communities has always been something which is normal for me. So I have always been born and raised with this idea that religion, whether you are Muslim, Christians, or Jews, we are all brothers and sisters. And because I have been born and raised with this mindset, today I cannot do otherwise. This is the reality, and I'm deeply convinced of this, deeply convinced that we should all stand together in order to promote this idea of fraternity. And that's why, in a few days, actually, to be fully honest with you, I will travel with more than 200 humans of different religions, different backgrounds, different cultures to Auschwitz-Birkenau, to the death and concentration camps, where millions of Jews died 80 years ago, in order to see the horror, because I'm pretty convinced that when you see the horror, you cannot reproduce it. And to me, unbuilding cliché that leads to hate speech, discrimination, racism, anti-Semitism, anti-Muslim acts is key. So, of course, education is key, and I'm pretty convinced that this could be led by the government, but also by municipalities. And a few days ago, I have been appointed with a new mission, which is that I will be in charge of promoting the French concept of laïcité in my city and of combating discrimination. So that's a new mission, and I'm pretty happy about that. And I'm pretty sure that municipalities and elected officials can play an important role in order to go into schools, in order to promote diversity, in order to promote interfaith dialogue, in order to teach religions, and to prove that today peace should not be just an ideal. Once again, when there is a will, there is a path, and being here today is also a symbol and a call to action to all over the world, where we are all together, when we stand all together against hate and racism, we can move forward and try to make solutions possible. Thank you.
This is really great, and great experience, and a lesson to share about how families and parents raise their children on a basis of diversity, inclusivity, and those really concepts are very important and shape the personality of the human being in the future. This is really excellent. I would move now to Ms. Huda again and to ask her about what actions or recommendation would you propose to further empower women in promoting civilized dialogue and global tolerance. So what do you think would be the recommendation or the action, the strategies that could be implemented in order to foster the tolerance and to improve and boost the dialogue between civilization?
Thank you so much for posing this question. It's a very important question. Thank you. Actually, one of the things that, education, of course, is very important, and we all touched on that. And again, being exposure to all different, backgrounds is very important. Yes. For me, the most important part is to make women economically independent. Because there's a lot of poverty. I mean, I talk about Iraq, for example. There were a lot of women who actually are supporting the families, but they have no means of support. And initiating, through some NGOs, through some, government aid to these women who wants to start projects. I mean, I've watched a program about women who started, bee farming, and making honey. And, the woman is not educated, but because she was able to really provide for her family, with orphans, that she was able to educate her children. So I think, making women become, financially independent, that she can support herself, support her family, and become a decision maker because of that, it will help really raise a new generation, a generation that can, help the country, but also, spread the knowledge and education. Yes. Thank you.
This is great recommendations, and I think women have the, as we said, the soft power in advancing and promoting tolerance and coexistence and boost the civilization dialogue, starting from being a woman at home, raising their children, and also at work when we work. For example, in academia, I want also to add that the recommendation is raising awareness, doing events like this, like conferences, international conferences, workshops, and social media also can promote this issue and really empower women. I would like now to go back to Sheikha Noora and to conclude or to give us her thoughts about this topic, how we can conclude and close this important panel.
Actually, Professor Sherine, I just remembered something while you were talking, and I really want to share this with everyone here. I was raised in a home where my mother, when I used to come from school and share a story with my mom, and I used to tell her what happened with X person and Y person, she used to tell me, Noora, listen and focus. You are going to a community where they have different values, different ethics, and different principles. You should respect others, and they will respect you in return. You have your beliefs, and you have what you took from home, and you go to school, you don't need to share it, and you don't need to accept what others believe and what others have value as a different thing. You come back, and you have yours, and they have. So I was actually raised in a home like that. So I encourage women to start from their home with their children, not only in work, and not to focus in, actually to focus, yes, I'm to start from home, but empowerment and education, but this comes first from the house you were raised in. So to me, I'm a mother of 4, and I can see how this is actually affecting my children so much. And today I see my children having friends from all around the world and accepting and having actually knowledge and background about different religions, about different principles, sorry, my voice is naturally loud, so I don't think I need a microphone. So just to end this right, I encourage every woman to start, every mother to start from her house, from raising her children to this. Thank you so much.
Excellent. This is really great. And I'm going to take this occasion and also say that we need the support of men as well. Yani women always need the support of men in order to advance in our career. I think all of us will need the support of the men. So you have a role also in empowering women. Huh? Thank you so much. But last thought from Dr. Dima.
You know, I think that this topic of inclusion, diversity now is an international topic. I go back to say the UAE is a leading example from the region where women have really been given the empowerment, whether in the economy, whether in politics, and whether, you know, in also daily life. And I think that the entire Arab region needs to follow suit because the UAE is providing a leading example, and you know, Arab nations also need to catch up also. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Shannon, last thought.
No, thank you again for being here today, and to Emirate Scholar again for gathering us. And I would like to say that because we are here in the United Arab Emirates, let's use this country as an example, of course, for the region, but for the whole world. And I'm pretty sure that I will get back to France this evening with many thoughts and ideas in order to inspire political people and the young generation as well. So please, let's keep fighting for this. Let's keep fighting for peace. Let's keep fighting for promoting interfaith dialogue. It's not just an ideal, it could be a reality. And if we, all of us, try in our daily life to change things and to say that we are all brothers and sisters, I'm pretty sure that the next generation will be wonderful. Thank you again.
Last thought.
Oh, last thought.
Yes.
You know, like Ms. Shannon said, it's, you know, this country is really amazing in what it's doing in empowering women. You know, I keep, you know, meeting Emirati women who I'm so impressed with what they do. And, you know, a perfect example is, you know, Sheikha Noora here. It's, you know, it's empowering women, is empowering by, you know, the next generation. And I think it's, you know, from here we can really spread the knowledge about how people could live together. I mean, you know, we have a perfect example is the Abrahamic family house, where, you know, everyone can go pray and worship, but also everyone can engage together in activities to get to know each other. And, you know, raising a new generation that exposed to everyone and learn about everyone and be all, you know, brothers and sisters to make our world a better world.
I do agree with you. Now we are in the artificial intelligence era, and we are witnesses advances in all aspects. So for sure, the tolerance, coexistence, diversity should cope also with these changes and be important theme and culture. I would like at the end to first thank the Emirate Scholars Research Institute for the kind invitation. I would like to thank our esteemed panelists who really added value and contributed a lot, and to thank all the audience for attending this important panel related to women empowerment. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.